Ambassador Ji-Wan Lee stood before the massive assembly hall, her hands trembling slightly as she looked up at the rows of alien delegates. The chamber was enormous, built to hold representatives from 47 different species. Each one sat in their special seats designed for their unique bodies. Some had multiple legs, others had wings, and a few floated in special containers filled with liquid. Ji-Wan had practiced her speech 100 times. She needed help. The human colonies on the outer edges of explored space were under attack. 17 worlds had been raided in the last 6 months. Thousands of humans were dead or missing. The Vrexan Dominion, a powerful alien empire, was destroying everything humans had built. She pressed the button to activate her microphone. "Honored delegates of the Galactic Assembly," she began, "I come before you today to request military assistance. The Vrexan attacks on human territory have become systematic and brutal. Our colonies lack the defensive capabilities to withstand these raids. We ask for your support." The response was not what she had hoped for. The chamber erupted in sounds that could only be called laughter. The insect-like Thralax representative clicked its sharp mandibles together, creating a harsh rattling sound. The crystalline luminary delegate changed colors and patterns that meant mockery. The reptilian Corventhi ambassador actually sneered at her, his forked tongue flicking out in disgust. The Corventhi ambassador stood up, his scales gleaming under the chamber lights. "The humans want us to protect them?" His voice was filled with contempt. "You are children playing in a dangerous galaxy. Your ships are primitive. Your weapons are useless. Your technology is hundreds of years behind even the weakest species here. Maybe humanity should have stayed on Earth where it was safe." Other delegates joined in. A floating gas being from the Nethera collective spoke through its translation device. "We warned Earth not to expand so quickly. You spread across dozens of worlds before you had the strength to defend them. This is your own fault." Ji-Wan felt her face grow hot with embarrassment, but she kept her composure. She had expected resistance, but not this level of open contempt. "We are not asking for charity," she said firmly. "We offer trade agreements, mineral rights on our colony worlds, and scientific exchange." "Surely someone here values mutual cooperation," the Thralax representative responded. "Why would we trade with a species that will not exist in 5 years? The Vrexan will consume your colonies one by one. When you beg them for mercy, remember that you were warned. Humanity is too weak to survive among the stars." Ji-Wan made one final attempt. "Then we request minimal support. Observation ships, tactical advisors, anything that shows the Vrexan that Earth has allies." She looked around the chamber, making eye contact with as many delegates as she could. "Please," the vote was called. The massive display screen showed the results in real time. Every single species voted no. 47 votes against helping humanity, 0 votes in favor. The rejection was complete and unanimous. The assembly moderator, an ancient being whose species Ji-Wan did not recognize, spoke in a neutral tone. "The matter is settled. Earth's request for assistance is denied. This session is concluded." As the delegates began to file out, many of them still making sounds of amusement at humanity's expense, Ji-Wan stood alone at the speaker's platform. She had failed. Her people would continue to die, and the galaxy did not care. What none of the delegates knew was that someone was watching this entire scene very carefully. Commander Daeho Kim sat in the command chair of his ship, less than 200 meters away from the assembly chamber's main viewing window. He could see the delegates laughing at Ambassador Lee. He could see the contempt on their alien faces. His ship was called the Shadow Protocol. It was unlike any vessel the galaxy had ever seen. The hull was black, absorbing light instead of reflecting it. The technology inside was so advanced that it made most alien science look like primitive tools. And most importantly, the ship was completely invisible. Daeho watched the display screen showing the assembly vote. Every single species had rejected humanity's plea for help. He felt anger building in his chest, but he controlled it. Anger was useless. Action was what mattered. His science officer, Dr. Hyejin Park, worked at her station nearby. She was monitoring the alien sensor networks. "Commander, they have no idea we are here. Their most advanced scanning systems show nothing. We could sit here for a year and they would never detect us." Lieutenant Minho Choi, the weapons officer, looked up from his console. "Sir, I have targeting solutions for every major system in this station. If we wanted to, we could cripple Concordia Prime before they knew what hit them." "We are not here to start a war, Lieutenant," Daeho said calmly. But his mind was already working through the implications. Humanity had been developing this technology in secret for decades. They had expected that other species might be hostile. They had prepared for rejection. And now that rejection had come, his communication panel lit up. An encrypted message directly from Earth Command. Deho read it quickly, then read it again to make sure he understood. The message was simple but carried enormous weight. Operation Revelation is authorized. Show them what humans can do. Deho stood up from his command chair. He walked to the main view screen and looked at the Concordia Prime station. Thousands of alien ships surrounded it. Warships from dozens of species, all of them more powerful than anything Earth officially possessed. At least that is what they thought, Dr. Park, he said quietly. How many alien military vessels are within visual range? Heejin checked her sensors. 37 warships, Commander, including 3 heavy dreadnoughts. If they attacked us all at once, their combined firepower could destroy a small moon. And how many of them can target us right now? Heejin smiled. None, sir. We exist in multiple quantum states simultaneously. Their targeting computers cannot lock onto us. They could fire 1 million shots and every single one would miss. Deho nodded slowly. Then I think it is time we introduce ourselves properly. He pressed the ship-wide communication button. All crew, this is the commander. Prepare to decloak. We are about to have a conversation with the Galactic Assembly. I suspect they will find it very educational. He turned to his bridge crew. Each of them looked back at him with confidence. They had trained for years for this moment. They were ready. On my mark, Deho said. Let's show them that humanity is done asking for permission to survive. 3, 2, 1, decloak. The shadow protocol appeared from nothing, materializing in space like a ghost becoming solid. Every sensor on Concordia Prime Station immediately screamed warnings. Alarms blared throughout the alien vessels. Inside the assembly chamber, delegates froze in terror as they saw the massive human warship hanging in space. Close enough to touch, appearing from absolutely nowhere, Ambassador Jiwan Lee, still standing at the speaker's platform, allowed herself a small smile. The real conversation was about to begin. The Galactic Assembly Chamber descended into complete chaos. Every alarm system in Concordia Prime Station activated at once. The sound was deafening, a mixture of sirens, warning tones, and automated voices in dozens of alien languages all shouting about an unidentified vessel. The shadow protocol hung in space like a predator, its black hull seeming to absorb the light from nearby stars. The ship was massive, easily as large as the biggest warships in the galaxy, but its design was completely alien to the gathered species. Angular lines, smooth surfaces, and a shape that suggested violence barely restrained. Inside the assembly chamber, delegates panicked. The Thrylax representative tried to scramble away from the viewport, its multiple legs tangling in its confusion. The luminary delegate flashed bright red, a color that meant extreme fear in their species. Even the arrogant Corventi ambassador looked terrified, his reptilian eyes wide with shock. Security forces rushed into the chamber, weapons drawn. But their targeting systems showed nothing useful. The shadow protocol appeared on visual sensors, but everywhere else it was like a ghost. Their computers could not decide where the ship actually was. Some systems showed it in 17 different locations at once. Others showed nothing at all. The Corventi ambassador recovered his voice first. "What is this?" he shouted. "What have the humans done? This violates every treaty. This is an act of war." Ambassador Jiwan Lee remained calm at the speaker's platform. She had known this moment was coming. She had been briefed on the shadow protocol weeks ago, told to prepare for this dramatic revelation. Now she watched as the species who had mocked humanity minutes earlier scrambled in fear. She pressed her microphone button. "Honored delegates," her voice cut through the chaos. "Please calm down. Allow me to introduce the UESS Shadow Protocol, humanity's answer to a simple question. You have all asked what humans can possibly contribute to the galaxy. Consider your answer revised." 3 Corventi cruisers that had been patrolling near the station moved into attack position, their weapon systems powered up. Plasma cannons that could vaporize a city in seconds. The cruiser commanders were not waiting for orders. A human ship appearing from nowhere was threat enough. On the Shadow Protocol bridge, Commander Deho Kim watched the alien warships prepare to fire. His executive officer, Commander Sunho Bay, reported the situation. Sir, 3 Corventhi cruisers are targeting us. Their weapons are hot. They will fire in approximately 20 seconds. Let them, Deho said calmly. Dr. Heejin Park monitored her science station. The quantum displacement field is stable, Commander. Their sensors are reading us in multiple locations simultaneously. They literally cannot perceive where we actually are. Lieutenant Minho Choi checked his weapons console. Sir, should I return fire? No, Deho replied. We are here to make a point, not start a war. Let them waste their ammunition. The Corventhi cruisers fired. Brilliant streams of superheated plasma lanced through space toward where their computers said the shadow protocol should be. The beams were powerful enough to cut through the shields of any known warship. They would have destroyed a conventional human vessel instantly. Instead, the plasma beams passed through empty space. The shadow protocol had not moved. It remained exactly where it had been. The alien targeting systems had simply calculated wrong. They could not accurately perceive the ship's location because of the quantum technology Dr. Park had developed. In the assembly chamber, delegates watched in stunned silence as the most powerful weapons in the Corventhi arsenal did absolutely nothing. The human ship sat untouched as if the attack had never happened. Deho opened a communication channel that broadcast to every ship and station in the area. His voice was calm but carried an edge of steel. You called our technology primitive. You called us children. Yet not one of your vaunted warships can even target us properly. We could have destroyed this entire station before any of you knew we were here. He paused, letting his words sink in. Around the station, dozens of alien warships floated helplessly, unable to lock weapons on the human vessel. But we are not like the Vrexen, Deho continued. We are not conquerors. We are builders and defenders. Yes, when necessary, we are warriors. We came to the assembly seeking allies. We were given mockery and rejection. So let me be absolutely clear. Humanity does not need your permission to survive. We do not need your protection. We will handle the Vrexen threat ourselves. Dr. Heejin Park transmitted a data package to the assembly's central computer system. The information was carefully prepared, showing just enough to prove humanity's technological advantage without revealing actual secrets. The gathered species watched their displays in growing horror as they realized what they were seeing. The technology was not just invisibility or cloaking. It was quantum state manipulation. The shadow protocol existed in multiple probability states at the same time. Conventional weapons could not target it because it was essentially everywhere and nowhere simultaneously. The computational power required was beyond anything the known galaxy possessed. The Luminary delegate, whose species was considered the most scientifically advanced in the assembly, spoke in a trembling harmonic voice. This technology should not exist. The computational power required, the energy distribution, the quantum coherence needed to maintain multiple states. It would take any known species thousands of years to develop this. Ambassador Jiwan Lee responded from the chamber floor. It took us 47 years. You see, when you are the weakest species in a hostile galaxy, you have 2 choices, innovate or die. We chose innovation. She walked slowly around the speaker's platform, making eye contact with as many delegates as she could. For 3 years we have endured your contempt. Every day we heard how primitive we were, how weak, how unprepared for the dangers of space. You were right about one thing. We were unprepared. So we prepared ourselves. The assembly moderator tried to restore order. Ambassador Lee, the deployment of such weapons technology without assembly approval is a serious violation of what? Jiwan interrupted. Of treaties that were written before humanity even reached the stars? Of laws designed to keep younger species weak and dependent? We followed every rule you gave us. We asked for help politely. We offered fair trade. We did everything right, and you laughed at us. On the shadow protocol, Deho prepared for the next phase of his demonstration. Dr. Park, begin the cloaking sequence. I want a slow fade. Let them watch us disappear. Yes, Commander, Heejin replied. Her fingers danced across her console. The shadow protocol began to fade from view. It was not a quick vanishing act. Instead, the ship slowly became transparent like a ghost fading into nothing. The watching aliens could see it happening but could do nothing to stop it or track it. Deho transmitted one final message. The Vrexen have threatened human space for the last time. We are deploying to the Outer Rim colonies. Operations begin in 72 hours. Any species that wishes to observe how primitive humans conduct warfare is welcome to follow. Perhaps you will learn something. The Shadow Protocol completed its cloaking sequence and vanished entirely. Every sensor on Concordia Prime tried desperately to locate it. All of them failed. The human warship was gone as completely as if it had never existed. In the assembly chamber, silence reigned. The delegates who had been laughing minutes ago now sat in shock. The species who had rejected humanity's plea for help now realized they had made a terrible mistake. Earth was not weak. Earth was terrifying. The colony world of New Jeju was a peaceful place, or at least it had been. The planet was mostly farmland, with wide fields of modified earth crops growing under an orange sun. 340,000 humans called this world home. They had come here hoping for a better life, a chance to build something new far from Earth's crowded cities. Now they huddled in underground shelters, waiting to see if they would survive the day. Colony Director Suman Kang stood in the command center, watching the sensor displays with growing dread. The Vrexen fleet had just emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the system. She counted the ships carefully. 3 heavy cruisers, 7 frigates, and 1 massive carrier vessel designed to land troops on planets. How long until they reach us? She asked her security chief. Jiho Nam checked his calculations. 4 hours at their current speed, maybe less if they accelerate. He looked at Suman with tired eyes. Director, our defensive batteries are designed to deflect asteroids. They were never meant to fight warships. Suman knew he was right. New Jeju had some weapons, but nothing that could stop a fleet this size. She had sent urgent messages to Earth Command 3 days ago, when long-range sensors first detected the Vrexen ships. The response had been cryptic but reassuring. Help is coming. Hold your position, but where was that help? The Vrexen fleet was here now, and the skies above New Jeju were empty except for a few cargo ships and agricultural satellites. On the lead Vrexen cruiser, Warlord Thaxus studied the human colony with satisfaction. He was a massive creature, standing nearly 3 meters tall with 4 powerful arms and scales like armor plating. His species had evolved as apex predators, and Thaxus had never lost that hunting instinct. Humans, he growled to his assembled warriors, weak creatures with soft skin and fragile bones. This colony has no defense fleet, no orbital fortresses, nothing but some pathetic ground weapons that cannot even reach us. He bared his teeth in what passed for a smile. This will be easy. We take what we want and leave nothing behind. His crew roared their approval. They had raided 9 human colonies already. Not one had been able to mount a real defense. Humans died easily, and their settlements were full of valuable technology and resources. What Warlord Thaxus did not know was that 3 human warships had been in the system for 8 hours. Silent and invisible, watching the Vrexen fleet's approach, the Shadow Protocol floated near one of New Jeju's moons, completely undetectable. Nearby, 2 other stealth ships waited. The Silent Thunder, commanded by Captain Unji Shin, and the Ghost Wind, commanded by Captain Tai Hyung Kwan. Commander Daiho Kim studied the Vrexen formation on his tactical display. He had been analyzing their communications, their battle patterns, their weaknesses. The Vrexen were confident, perhaps too confident. They expected no resistance, Dr. Park, Daiho said quietly. What can you tell me about their shields? Heejin Park pulled up detailed scans. Standard Vrexen technology, Commander. Strong against conventional weapons, but their shield harmonics are predictable. If we target the right frequencies, we can punch through them easily. Lieutenant Minho Choi had already calculated firing solutions for every enemy ship. Sir, I can disable their carrier with 1 shot. Take out the engines and it becomes a floating wreck. Daiho nodded. That will be our opening move. The carrier represents the greatest threat to the colonists. Without it, the Vrexen cannot land troops. He opened a secure channel to the other 2 stealth ships. Silent Thunder, Ghost Wind, this is Shadow Protocol. Prepare to engage on my mark. The Vrexen fleet moved into high orbit above New Jeju. Warlord Thaxus was recording a threatening message to broadcast to the colony when his carrier suddenly exploded. There was no warning. No incoming fire detected. No enemy ship appeared on any sensor. One moment the carrier was fine, preparing to launch assault pods. The next moment it was tearing itself apart from massive internal explosions. The ship's reactor went critical. 8,000 Vrexen warriors died in seconds. Thaxus roared in fury and confusion. What happened? Who dares attack us? Show yourself. The Shadow Protocol decloaked directly behind the Vrexen command cruiser. Daiho had positioned his ship so close that Thaxus could see it through the viewport. The black human warship hung in space, its weapons still glowing from the shot that had destroyed the carrier. Daho's voice cut through the communication channel. "You wanted to see us, Warlord? Here we are." What followed was not a battle. It was a massacre. The 3 human stealth ships moved through the Vrexen formation like ghosts. They would appear suddenly, fire devastating shots with perfect accuracy, then vanish before return fire could be coordinated. The Vrexen ships had powerful weapons and strong shields, but they could not target an enemy they could not track. Captain Yoonji Shin brought the Silent Thunder alongside 2 Vrexen frigates. Her crew fired precisely aimed shots at the engine cores. Both frigates lost power and went spinning off into space, crippled but intact. The Silent Thunder vanished before the other Vrexen ships could even turn to face it. Captain Taehyung Kwan used a different approach. The Ghost Wind carried experimental quantum torpedoes that could phase through shields before detonating inside the enemy hull. He fired at a heavy cruiser. The torpedo passed through the shields like they did not exist and exploded inside the ship's ammunition storage. The cruiser broke in half. The Shadow Protocol engaged Warlord Thaxis directly. The Vrexen commander tried everything he knew. He fired all weapons. He maneuvered frantically. He called for his other ships to concentrate fire on the human vessel. Nothing worked. Lieutenant Minho Choi fired the Shadow Protocol's main weapon, a particle lance that focused tremendous energy into a narrow beam. The shot tore through the command cruiser's shields as if they were paper. The beam struck the bridge section. Warlord Thaxis died instantly, along with his entire command staff. 12 minutes after the engagement began, it was over. 10 Vrexen warships reduced to burning debris or crippled hulks. Not a single human casualty. The Shadow Protocol had taken a few hits on its shields, but nothing serious. The other 2 stealth ships were completely undamaged. On New Jeju's surface, the colonists watched in amazement as the alien threat simply ceased to exist. The massive explosions in orbit were visible even in daylight. Director Suman Kang received a transmission on the emergency channel. New Jeju Colony, this is Commander Daiho Kim of the UESS Shadow Protocol. The immediate threat has been neutralized. We will maintain orbital overwatch until reinforcements arrive. Earth Command sends its regards. Suman felt tears running down her face. Her people were safe. The promised help had come and it had been devastating. "Thank you," she whispered, though she knew the commander could not hear her. "Thank you." What none of them knew was that the battle had been observed. Far beyond the system's edge, sophisticated sensors had recorded everything. The data was already being transmitted across the galaxy to various interested parties. The humans had just demonstrated military technology that should not exist. And now everyone knew about it. News of the Vrexen fleet's destruction spread across the galaxy faster than light itself. Quantum communication networks carried the story to every major world within hours. The Galactic Assembly called an emergency session before the day was over. The mood in the assembly chamber had changed completely. Ambassador Ji-Won Lee walked through the corridors leading to the main hall, and everywhere she looked she saw different expressions on alien faces. Fear, respect, calculation. No more mockery, no more contempt. The Thrillax ambassador approached her before the session began. The insect being's antennae drooped low in a gesture that meant respect and apology. "Ambassador Lee, the Thrillax Collective wishes to extend formal apologies for our previous behavior. We were wrong to dismiss humanity. We would like to discuss mutual defense arrangements." Ji-Won maintained a neutral expression. "I will bring your proposal to Earth Command for consideration." Before she could move on, the Luminary delegate materialized beside her. The crystalline being pulsed with colors that indicated diplomatic interest. "Ambassador, the Luminary Chorus offers technological exchange. We believe our computational sciences, combined with your quantum applications, could benefit both species greatly." Over the next hour, 17 different species approached Ji-Won with similar offers. Trade agreements, military cooperation, scientific collaboration. Species that had ignored humanity for 3 years now competed desperately for Earth's attention. Only the Corventhi remained hostile, their delegation glaring at her from across the chamber. When the emergency session began, the Corventhi ambassador wasted no time making his position clear. He stood at the speaker's platform, his scales gleaming with agitation. "The humans have deployed weapons of undetectable nature. This violates the ancient Treaty of Vale, which prohibits invisibility technology in warfare. Today they use these ghost ships against the Vrexen, Tomorrow, who will be their target? Several delegates murmured agreement. The concern was genuine for some species. Weapons that could not be detected were frightening to everyone. The Corventhi continued. The Corventhi Dominion demands that humanity dismantle this technology immediately, or face sanctions from the entire assembly. We cannot allow one species to possess such an overwhelming advantage. The chamber erupted in debate. Some species supported the Corventhi position out of fear. Others recognized it as political maneuvering by a species that had been hostile to humanity from the beginning. When Jiwan's turn came to respond, she walked calmly to the platform. She had prepared her speech carefully with input from Earth's best diplomatic minds. The Corventhi ambassador speaks of the Treaty of Vale, she began, but he conveniently ignores that his own species uses biological weapons banned under the same treaty. He speaks of honor while Corventhi ships have attacked 17 civilian transports in the past year alone, all of them carrying refugees. The Corventhi ambassador started to protest, but Jiwan continued. Humanity will not dismantle our defensive capabilities because species who refuse to help us suddenly fear our strength. We developed stealth technology because we had no choice. When we begged for protection, you laughed. When we asked for alliances, you dismissed us. We will not apologize for surviving. She paused, looking around the chamber. However, Earth understands the concern. We propose the following compromise. We will share theoretical documentation of our stealth principles with the Assembly's Science Council. Not the technology itself, but the understanding that it exists and the knowledge that it can theoretically be countered. This levels the playing field without compromising our security. It was a masterful diplomatic move. The offer appeared generous while giving away nothing truly valuable. The Shadow Protocol's full capabilities would remain classified, but other species would know that invisibility was not perfect, that countermeasures were possible if they invested enough research. The Assembly voted. 73% approved the human proposal. The Corventhi ambassador stormed out of the chamber, but his objections no longer mattered. Humanity had won the political battle. While diplomacy unfolded at Concordia Prime, the Vrexan Empire was planning revenge. High Admiral Vexara stood before her war council in the Vrexan home system. She was the supreme military commander of the Empire, and she was furious. 14 fleets destroyed in 3 weeks, she said, her voice cold with anger. 14 fleets. The humans have made fools of us, but they have revealed their hand. We know about their stealth ships now. We know they exist. One of her subordinates, a younger admiral named Kreth, spoke cautiously. High Admiral, our intelligence suggests the humans have at least 3 of these ghost ships, possibly more, and we still have no way to target them effectively. Vexara slammed her fist on the table. Then we use numbers. The humans cannot be everywhere at once. Even if they have 10 stealth ships, even 20, they cannot defend 50 targets simultaneously. She pulled up a tactical map showing human space. We will strike at 50 colony worlds at the same time. Their ghost ships will save some colonies, but many will fall. And when they are spread thin across the galaxy, we strike at Earth itself. The War Council began planning immediately. The Vrexan Empire started gathering the largest invasion fleet in its history. 300 capital ships, 1,000 support vessels, 500,000 troops. The target was clear. Earth had to be destroyed to restore Vrexan honor. On the Shadow Protocol, Dr. Heejin Park had been working on a mystery for weeks. After the battle at New Jeju, she had detected strange energy signatures. Not from any known alien technology. The signatures appeared briefly and then vanished, but they were clearly surveillance systems. She called Commander Daeho Kim to her science station. Sir, I've been tracking these anomalous readings. I've found 17 locations across the galaxy where similar signatures appear, all of them near major conflicts or political centers. Daeho studied the data. You think someone is watching us? More than that, Commander. The technology level required for this surveillance is beyond anything in our database, beyond anything the Luminari have, beyond what we thought was possible. She pulled up more scans. And there are 3 active signatures monitoring this ship right now. They've been watching us since we left New Jeju. Daeho felt a chill. The Shadow Protocol was supposed to be undetectable. If something could track them, that meant humanity's greatest advantage might not be as absolute as they thought. Commander Sunho Bei entered the bridge carrying a classified data tablet. His face was grim. Sir, I have new intelligence from Earth Command. It's above most clearance levels, but you need to see this. He handed the tablet to Deho. What the commander read made him question everything. The Shadow Protocol was not alone. Earth's stealth fleet was not 3 ships. It was 37 ships with 12 more under construction. Humanity had been building warships in secret for 15 years. If we've been building ships for 15 years, Deho said slowly, that means Earth Command knew the Rexen were coming long before the first colony raid. How? Sunho hesitated. The files are restricted, sir. But there are rumors, whispers about contact, about warnings from someone who helped us develop the stealth technology in the first place. On Earth, in a facility hidden deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, Fleet Admiral Yuna Song met with a mysterious figure. The figure stood in shadows, its form barely visible. The Vrexen are gathering their forces, the figure said. 300 ships. They will reach Earth in 43 days. Admiral Song nodded. Our stealth fleet can intercept them before they reach... No, the figure interrupted. You must let them reach Earth's orbit. Let them come to your homeworld. Others are watching. They must see that humanity can defend itself against overwhelming odds. Who is watching? Song demanded. The figure stepped forward slightly. Its features were humanoid but definitely alien. Those who have controlled this galaxy for millennia. Those who fear what humanity represents. They must believe you are ready for what comes next. 43 days passed like a countdown to doomsday. The Vrexen fleet emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the Sol system, exactly when the mysterious figure had predicted. 300 capital ships, each one capable of destroying cities. The formation stretched across millions of kilometers of space, the largest invasion force ever assembled against a single species. High Admiral Vexera broadcast her ultimatum to Earth on all frequencies. Humans, you have defied the natural order. You have destroyed our fleets with cowards' weapons. Now you face honorable combat. Surrender your stealth technology. Surrender your colony worlds. Submit to Vrexen dominion. You have 6 hours to comply. On Mars Defense Station, Fleet Admiral Yuna Song watched the Vrexen fleet approach. She did not respond to the ultimatum. Instead, she activated the defensive plan humanity had been preparing in secret for years. Across the Sol system, 37 stealth ships moved silently into position. Commander Deho Kim had spent the past 43 days hunting for a traitor. The mysterious figure's warning haunted him. Someone in the fleet was not who they claimed to be. His investigation had narrowed to 3 suspects among the stealth ship commanders, but he had no proof. Now time had run out. The Shadow Protocol was positioned near Jupiter's orbit, hidden among the giant planet's dozens of moons. Dr. Hyejin Park monitored the Vrexen fleet's movements while Lieutenant Minho Choi calculated firing solutions. But Deho's attention kept drifting to the personnel files displayed on his private screen. 3 captains. One of them was an enemy agent, Commander, Hyejin said softly. The Vrexen fleet is advancing toward Earth. We need to focus on the battle. Deho nodded, forcing himself to concentrate. The traitor would reveal themselves eventually. For now, Earth's survival was what mattered. The Vrexen fleet reached Mars orbit expecting to find defensive stations, minefields, conventional warships. Instead, they found empty space. High Admiral Vexera felt a moment of unease. Where were the human defenses? All ships, she commanded. Advance to Earth. If the humans want to hide, we will burn their world and force them out. That was when Fleet Admiral Song triggered the trap. All 37 stealth ships decloaked simultaneously within the Vrexen formation. The Black Fleet, as it would later be known, appeared from nothing at point-blank range. The slaughter began immediately. Human ships fired before the Vrexen could react. Capital ships exploded. Frigates were torn apart. The Vrexen fleet, designed for conventional warfare, could not adapt to an enemy that appeared and vanished at will. Commander Deho Kim led the Shadow Protocol through the Vrexen center formation. Lieutenant Minho Choi's aim was perfect. Each shot crippled or destroyed an enemy vessel. Within minutes, 20 Vrexen ships were dead in space. Then everything went wrong. The Ghost Wind, commanded by Captain Tai-Hyung Kwan, suddenly decloaked in the middle of the human formation. But instead of firing at the Vrexen, it opened fire on the Silent Thunder. Captain Yoonji Shin's ship took massive damage before it could raise shields. What is Kwan doing? Deho shouted. The Ghost Wind's weapons blazed again, crippling 2 more human vessels. Then Captain Kwan's voice came over the command channel, but it sounded wrong. Distorted. Inhuman. The elders send their regards. Humanity's arrogance ends today. Dr. Hee-Jin Park analyzed the voice transmission. Commander, that is not Captain Kwan. The vocal patterns are biomechanical. Whatever is commanding that ship, it is not human anymore. Daeho understood instantly. The traitor had been found. But the real Captain Kwan was probably dead, replaced by something that could pass for human. An infiltrator using technology far beyond even what the Shadow Protocol possessed. Fleet Admiral Song's voice cut through the chaos. Shadow Protocol, you are authorized to break engagement. Hunt down that traitor. The rest of the fleet will handle the Vrexen. Daeho did not hesitate. Hee-Jin, track the Ghost Wind. Minho, prepare quantum torpedoes. Sunho, reroute all power to engines. We end this now. The Shadow Protocol vanished from the main battle, pursuing the Ghost Wind as it fled toward Jupiter. The two stealth ships engaged in a deadly chase through the giant planet's radiation belts. They decloaked only to fire, each trying to predict where the other would appear. The false Kwan was skilled, using every stealth warfare tactic perfectly. The Shadow Protocol took several hits, but something was different about the enemy's tactics. They were too perfect, too precise. The infiltrator is using a quantum AI, Hee-Jin realized. It is processing our tactical patterns faster than any biological mind. It is always 2 steps ahead of us, Daeho smiled grimly. Then we stopped thinking tactically. Minho, forget everything you learned in training. Fire on pure instinct. No patterns. No planning. Just react, Lieutenant Minho Choi understood. He closed his eyes and let his hands move across the weapons console without conscious thought. Quantum torpedoes launched in seemingly random directions. His conscious mind had no idea where he was aiming. One torpedo connected. The Ghost Wind's shields collapsed. Full power to particle lance, Daeho ordered. End this. The Shadow Protocol's main weapon fired. The beam struck the Ghost Wind dead center. The ship exploded, taking the infiltrator with it. Captain Taehyung Kwan, the real one, had been avenged. While Daeho hunted the traitor, the rest of the Black Fleet systematically destroyed the Vrexen invasion force. The battle was not even close. Human stealth technology was simply too advanced. The Vrexen could not fight what they could not see. High Admiral Vexara died when her flagship was torn apart by concentrated human fire. Of 300 capital ships, only 43 escaped. The rest were destroyed or captured. Earth itself was never in danger. Not a single Vrexen ship got within firing range of humanity's homeworld. At Concordia Prime, the Galactic Assembly watched in stunned silence. Every species had sent observation drones to witness the battle. They had expected to see Earth's destruction. Instead, they watched humanity defeat the most powerful invasion fleet in recorded history. Ambassador Ji-Won Lee addressed the assembly with quiet satisfaction. To those who doubted us, this is what humanity achieves when we work together. To those who offered friendship, thank you. To those who threatened us, take note. Earth will defend itself. But the victory was incomplete. In the classified facility beneath the Pacific, Fleet Admiral Yuna Song demanded answers from the mysterious figure. You warned us about the traitor. You gave us the theories that led to stealth technology. You have been guiding humanity for years. Why, who are you? The figure stepped fully into the light. Its features were humanoid but clearly alien. I am the last survivor of a species the Elders destroyed. They have been manipulating this galaxy for millennia, engineering conflicts, suppressing technology, maintaining control. Humanity is unique. You are too creative, too stubborn to be controlled. You are this galaxy's best hope. Hope for what? Song asked. For freedom, the figure replied. What you faced today was a test. The real war is coming. The Elders will come for you with everything they have. On the Shadow Protocol, Daeho watched Earth through the viewport. His ship was damaged but victorious. He had lost friends, but humanity had survived. Dr. Hee-Jin Park was analyzing remains of the infiltrator. If the Elders can do this, how do we fight them? Daeho had no easy answer, but he knew one thing. The same way we have fought everyone else. By refusing to give up. The Elders made a mistake. They gave us time to prepare. Now we know what is coming. He looked at Earth, the blue world of humanity's birth. And if there is one thing humans are good at, it is overcoming impossible odds.